Hello, and welcome to the Exponential Growth Podcast, powered by Analyst Investors. I'm your host, David Olivencia, co-founder of Analyst Investors, and a passionate advocate for leveraging innovation and technology to drive success. Let's get started. This is Exponential Growth. Well, hey, everyone. Welcome to this episode of the Exponential Growth Podcast. I'm your host, David Olivencia, one of the co-founders of Analyst Investors, where this podcast is powered by. Today, I have the honor and distinct privilege to have a dear friend, almost 2 decades. I've known this amazing leader, amazing career at some of the world's leading and largest technology companies, PeopleSoft, Oracle, PwC, and now a managing director of technology innovation for Latin America and Caribbean at Amazon and Amazon Web Services, one of probably the largest technology company in the world, driving so much change. It's an honor to have you with us today, Juan Carlos Gutierrez. Juan, how are you doing?
Very good, David. Thank you so much. It's always great to see you, and super happy to have this conversation with you. So doing great.
Excellent. Well, what a cool background too, by the way. So I think that's what the Amazon headquarters background or whatever. What is
Yeah, we call it the spheres, which is in Seattle, and basically has like a micro forest inside the sphere. So it's an amazing place. So next time that you are in Seattle, so come and visit, okay?
Yeah, no, I think I've been there once. It is pretty amazing. And they're sphere. I mean, they're like round thing on the outside. They're really cool, great building, and really a driver of the economy in Seattle. That whole area, Amazon's been great. So Juan, if you can, maybe give the listeners here a little bit of your background. You have an amazing story, very international story. Would love just give our listeners a little bit on your story.
Absolutely. No. So you mentioned already some of the companies that I am being privileged to build my career on. Oracle, PeopleSoft, PwC, and now with AWS with Amazon. So it's been a 30 years plus, career. So always in technology, consulting, business consulting, where I had the opportunity to be a leader and lead people, which is one of the areas that I really like the most. So technology, I love it, but people and being involved with people is a great pleasure. I'm by formation, I'm a computer science engineer. I have a master in telecommunications and also one in leadership, which is the part that I mentioned that I like with people and leading people. Let's say origins, I'm an Spaniard by blood. So my family is from the Canary Islands, from Spain. I'm Venezuelan by luck. That's where I was born and I grew up. And I'm American by choice. So that's where I've been living for the last almost 28 years, so in the States. So I have the 3 nationalities that gets me a little bit of a melting pot between, European, American, and, Latin American. And that actually helps me to see different angles and different cultures and having empathy for, for others. So it has been a blessing to have this possibility. In addition, I will say in my career, David, I also passionate serving nonprofits like Angeles, High Tech, and Cristo Rey, also high school. That's where I've been also helping and serving recently in the board. And married also on the personal side, married for 28 years with 3 children, 24, 22, and 12, 3 boys. And I've been living in South Florida since 2000, so 24 years as a Floridian. So that's pretty much my career and background in a nutshell, David.
So, and then as part of that, I know a lot of your roles running Latin America. Just how many frequent flyer miles you have, how many trips to Latin America? Just give our listeners a sense of how often you've traveled and how often you've seen the world.
A lot, a lot. So I will say in terms of numbers of miles, only with American Airlines, which is my preferred airline because of Latin America, is 4 million miles. So I'm a 4 million miler with American. And when you add the other, two, Delta, United is another million. So I'm between every airline is 5 million, which is a lot of nights. I did some numbers in the past, and if I remember well, all those miles is like going to the moon back and forward 20 times.
Hey, you can get one of the Elon Musk rocket and get there, pretty quick now. But wow, that's a lot. That's a lot, Juan. And I think the great thing about travel is you can see this amazing world, all the great things, all the different cultures, and and there's a lot. I mean, I'm about 2 million, and I can only imagine. It's been blessed, and fortunate, but man, 5 million is a whole nother game. Well, excellent. So, Juan, so the this is Exponential Growth podcast. We like to talk about the trends that are driving exponential growth. How do you best position yourself for investment, and how do you best lead? But you've been in so many technology companies, and you're with really a world leader in technology in AWS, Amazon Web Services, Amazon in itself, and how they use technology. So you get a lot of view, and obviously you travel so much, you've seen a lot. You get a lot of views, and you've been around technology companies implementing. What do you see are the top 2, 3 technologies that are going to impact our listeners, the way they live, work, and play over the next, whatever, 10, 15 years?
So yeah, for sure. As you mentioned, traveling around the world gave me the possibility to be close to customers and governments and get firsthand directions, comments, they're thinking. And what I found is, of course, cloud is one of those technologies that is going to continue growing. In cloud, not because I'm working in probably the top cloud company, is because I'm getting that from the customers firsthand. And what happened with cloud is that in what it is possible to do with cloud, and having every business, every startup, every government to be in the cloud, we are just less than 20% of the possible market. So it's still early days for cloud adoption globally. And so I see that happening more and more in the next 5, 10 years, as you mentioned, and that is going to accelerate and growth exponentially. So it's not a linear growth; it's exponential. So, and why is that? Because the return of investment with data, with compute that you receive with cloud technologies makes you innovate faster and grow your business faster. So that's why you see companies around the world like Netflix that is capable to grow quickly and having content available globally. Or in Latam, for example, we have fintechs like a Nubank, which is now the first fintech globally that started in Brazil, and because of cloud is able to grow and be present globally. So cloud for sure is one area. The second one that I'm super passionate and I'm very involved with AWS is Gen AI. So Gen AI, it is transformational. So it's not one of those buzzwords that we may had in the past, like 3D printing, for example. Everybody was excited about 3D printing. Well, it's not necessarily changing the world. And many other technologies in the past that they come great, but they don't evolve exponentially. But Gen AI is evolving exponentially. So, and Gen AI is gonna be as transformational as internet. So I remember with Gen AI, the times that we probably both lived with internet. So a lot of excitement, business that were moving from traditional, brick and mortars to the internet. And by the way, that's how Amazon started. And I had the opportunity to be an early customer of Amazon. even, I didn't imagine that I was going to work for this company. But in 1997, I had the opportunity to start buying books, 1997, buying books through Amazon. I was living in Puerto Rico, by the way, David. And the best way to get books in Puerto Rico, 1997, was buying the books in Amazon and getting those books to your office using the postal service. It was amazing for me. Fast, the book that you wanted, personalized. So that was the beauty of internet in the 90s. But people didn't know in the 90s what was the impact. It was, the browser, databases, I remember the network computers. Everybody was saying, network computers are the ones that are going to transform internet. Not really. So internet was many, many things, right? And today when we see, backwards from where we are today, internet is involving education, in government, in our day-to-day life, in our cell phones. So we have in our smartphones internet doing everything, right? So Gen AI is in that stage. It's hard to imagine the impact of what Gen AI is going to be doing, but for sure it's going to impact everything in our life, every government, the way we educate ourselves, our children, the way that we're going to be buying products, asking open questions like recommendations. Today you can go to Amazon, there is an app, a functionality that is called Rufus, and you can have open questions like, Rufus, what do you recommend me to buy for this weekend? And it's going to be open based on your preferences, what is happening, and that is working today. But that's a little bit of the tip of the iceberg, David. So that's the technology, to your question, that I do see exponentially growing and impacting, governments, education, startups. So as again, as internet was doing back in the 90s.
Well, and then you look at, so you're saying, hey, if you're out there looking at trends, the listeners, cloud, right? So think of just all these things that are happening in the cloud. Think about your iCloud, think about apps, think about, all these different, storage clouds that are just going to continue to grow. And then you're saying, look, and then if you look back, the internet was the enabler to cloud. You can argue cloud is a bit of the enabler for what's happening with AI. And when you look back at what the internet was, how simple it was 20 years ago, just simply ordering a book, but now when it's all enabled, you've got a bigger thing and would you agree, a faster growth curve of what AI is doing? So within Amazon, when you think about artificial intelligence and cloud, right? Global leader, if not the global leader, in these two disruptive, exponentially growing technology areas. What else do you see, and what insights do you have? How are maybe some of your customers using this stuff? And I know you mentioned Netflix, you mentioned Nubank, but what are some other innovative things that you see coming in this space that you can share? I'm sure there might be things you
No
can
problem.
share.
Absolutely. So maybe a couple of things. So the what happened with this exponential growth of cloud and Gen AI brings one of the key things is sustainability, and that's why I put this in the back, because it's a much better green environment when you have these data centers in the cloud working in a sustainable environment. So that means a much better carbon footprint, or no carbon consumption in those data centers. The other thing is they are becoming water positive, which is an amazing thing. When you build these data centers exponentially in the cloud,
Yeah.
with new technology, it is possible that you not only consume less water, you actually return water to the environment, so which is water positive. And the sustainability impact of growing in cloud and Gen AI is super important in the future. So companies that are really seeing this not only as a goodwill, but also as business that you can save with electricity and power and consumption, but also impact positively their communities. That is happening with these technologies. So and I will say the second thing that is happening is we call it, there are pretty much two companies that are being aggressive around satellite internet and satellite access. Amazon is one of them, and Amazon has a vision through a project that is called Kuiper. And this project is to provide satellite internet through low orbit satellites that will bring the possibility to really have it. This is a promise for many, many years ago, but it's really to provide access to locations they are remote, or they have low income, or that has been very hard to be connected. And especially in Latin America, I will tell you that Latin America is still, behind of internet access versus other economies. And with this type of technology, you can bring education, health, and of course, access to commerce in a faster way. Again, going to an exponential growth. So that is happening too. Maximize the access to these technologies through satellites. And probably a third one that I will say is coming is the implication of now industries that are using these technologies, like fintech, which is financial services. It's probably the number one industry that is using cloud and AI and Gen AI. And as an industry, this means to provide access to finance in a faster way to populations that today they are restricted because of the traditional way of getting, loans and cards. And that is going to have a major impact in Latin America in particular. So those three, I think, are going to impact our future in the next 10 years.
Got it. And when you think about, so now, with that as the backdrop, AI, cloud, call in it connectivity, right? That's the other part of it. I mean, we're gonna continue to get better, connectivity, which will enable more people to do more things and take advantage of all these great technologies where you had, people in rural or poor countries, the cost is going to go down too, right? So you're going to get to see people in places where they had, maybe poorer areas, right? They're going to be able to compete with everybody else, which I think which is a great thing. How do you now investing, right? So now, you got this as a backdrop, all these things going on. How do you look at investing and even taking a step back? I mean, I was you talk about the 1990s, the early investor in Amazon, and I was going to go to GPT and just ask, like, if somebody invested, like, let me just do this real quick. If somebody invested $10,000 in Amazon, and what year should I put? 1998, 1997?
Yeah, we were public. We became public in 1997. So with 1997, that's when we became public.
In Amazon in 1997, how much would it be worth today? If you invested 10,000 Amazon in 1997, how much would it be worth today? And it's thinking, I wish sometimes they would, I think too many people are using it right now.
Yeah. You should use others, not only ChatGPT. Try Perplexity. That's a good one.
So no, it did come out. It did come out. It said if you had invested 10,000 in Amazon in its IPO in 1997, how much? Take a guess, Juan. How much do you think it would be? Just take a guess.
Wow. I haven't done that much, but at 10,000, let's say 100 million.
27 million, which is like an amazing return though, right? 10,000 in 1997 to be worth 27 million today. Amazing. But you think about like all the curves that technology curves that have made that an investment made, right? Books, retail, the recommendation, right? Think about like all the intelligence. Oh, you bought this book, you should buy this. Oh, you bought this book. Hey, you might want to try these shoes or whatever. Like all the referral and all the business intelligence, that tech that really helped it. Then the cloud with it'd be fascinating if, even like the story of how how they really invented cloud the cloud computing, right? I mean, it's an amazing story. But Amazon has done an amazing job of over the years learning, pivoting, testing, failing, right? There's some failures,
Yep.
and then growing, but they've rode exponential curves. So when you think about investing in exponential curves, what do you how are you thinking about it? What do you think about investing? Maybe not specific recommendations. Obviously, I can recommend Amazon stock, but you know you
Yeah.
probably can't, but I can't. But no, what do you think about how people should think about investing in these times?
Super. That's a great question, and as you mentioned it, I'm at the beginning, David. I'm also super grateful to be a co-founder of Angeles with with you, Adela, and many other great leaders. It's really an amazing chapter in my life. When I see invest in signals to invest, and what I do see in investments that they look successful. There is technology as the ones that we are mentioning, right? So these great technologies that can grow, with multiple users, like the Netflix, the Nubanks, and Fintechs that have the capability to be, in immediately globally available, right? So that's one part, but I have learned, especially in the last 10 years, that innovation it comes from people, and innovation comes from culture. And you need to have really a culture of innovation that, as you mentioned, it recognize that it's important to fail and learn fast. That it is a culture that um, balance IQ and very smart ideas and innovative ideas with EQ, with how what is the emotional impact of this innovation? How do I collaborate together so this is for the long run? So I do look in investments for great leaders that know how to crack the code about a culture and balance IQ and EQ. Because if not, what is going to happen is that you have these great ideas that they never take off, or great ideas that they don't create the passion around investors and others to make it happen. And these days, especially with Gen AI, EQ actually is becoming more and more important, because the
You,
IQ
you
part
can
is
get
going
the
to be.
IQ, you can get the IQ anywhere
Yeah.
now, right? I mean,
You
yeah.
get like you did. I mean, let me ask you, that was an IQ question. So what happened with $10,000, dollars right now, 37 million? Great. Now, uh, the EQ part is more the creativity, is the having the empathy, having the, control your impulse to really invest with others and build teams and create something magic like Angeles Investors. So Angeles Investors is really the product of a lot of smart people together, but with a lot of EQ, that we are thinking about others, how we can help, the Latinos in the community, how we can help other startups. So again, that's what I look. I look, David, in the innovation and about great people with great culture that can balance IQ and EQ. So that's what I look in these days.
Well, you mentioned culture, and you and it brought to me a thought, and because it's probably, I would say, one of the, if not the thing that has made Amazon successful over the years, right? And they've got they call them the tenants or whatever. There's a big, and the one that really sticks to me is like customer obsession, like being, what do you say? There's a quote from Jeff Bezos that says something like, I'm not worried about my competitors. I'm worried about my customers. I wake up scared, worried about my customers and what are they going to. And is there any additional things you want to share on those tenants and how important they are? Because you're somebody who lives and breathes that Amazon culture and really helps infuse it. Anything you want to share?
Yeah,
How
Totally. So going to the IQ and EQ balance, to achieve that and those behaviors, to your point, the culture has to I will say to recognize in every Amazonian, which is our case, and every employees in other company, that it is important to balance these two. And the way we do it is with leadership principles. In Amazon, we have the leadership principles. We have our mission, that is to be the most customer obsessed company on earth, and then customer centricity comes from that mission, and also independent of the technology, the services, doesn't matter. So we don't say that in our mission, right? But then the leadership principles are the ones that drive our behavior. And one of them is invent and simplify. The most important is the one that you mentioned, customer obsession, which means that we are never happy with, and comfortable with a customer results. We are obsessed that customers should be doing better. And that obsession make us actually uncomfortable that a customer can move from your company to another company just with a click. And that obsession drives how we can help this customer to help their customers to be better, and to think long term. That's the other thing. When you are customer obsessed, you sacrifice short-term decisions for long term, right? So, but that's the core. But the one I like two that I probably can mention here, invent and simplify, which is everybody in Amazon, everybody in AWS is being called to innovate. So, and that is the invent and simplify. Is that behavior that every time you should be looking for new things. And when you look for innovation and simplification at the same time, that calls and wakes you up to do better continuously on behalf of your customers. So always the innovation is on behalf of your customers. But the point with the way we think in Amazon, and I personally think is a click, is that innovation is not a responsibility of the innovation group, R&D, top managers. No, the CEO is the one that innovates and we execute. No, innovation is a responsibility of everybody. And that could go with simple things like how I can make a report better, right? How can I make this process, faster? That is a simple innovation, and it's up to everybody to do that continuously. And the other one that I always like is learn and be curious. And why is that important? Because I don't think we never finish learning. As human beings, we have to always learn. The things that we learn today maybe are totally different than the ones that we learned in high school or in college. How many things we knew? I mean, we were taught in college that today are different, right? Totally different. And it goes for physics, that we think it in one way and now it's different, right? So learn and be curious has to be a way of living for me, and it goes related to connecting that to the question about what I look from companies and investors, is companies that prioritize learning continuously and leaders that prioritize learning continuously. That has been the secret sauce also of Amazon. Learning, failing. Jeff Bezos always said that innovation and failure are twins. They come together. So you cannot expect new things if you don't fail. And we have failed, many times. Like with we have our own fire fund. Maybe
Yeah. I was just thinking about that one. That's right. Yeah. And
That's a big
you
failure.
can't be afraid to fail. I mean, but it's not easy to create a culture like that. And people sometimes have a reputation that they want to protect, right? And you got to be, it's not easy to
Intentional.
create a culture like that, right?
No, you have to be intentional to keep it. Especially when you grow at the speed that we have been growing. How you keep the culture with growing so fast? And I think that has been also a success of Amazon. And you know where it goes? Going again to people, we hire people and develop people based on the culture from the beginning. So when we hire people, yeah, IQ again is important, your experience, but you have to have a fit with the culture and you have to value the same leadership principles. And not only blah, 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 you have to behave based on the leadership principles. So when we hire in Amazon, we interview and we have a process that is called, it's a global mechanism has uh, that is the one, it's part of the secret sauce that allow us to hire Amazon is only use PowerPoint. I think connected a little bit.
Yeah, I think we're having a connection here. Let me see. I can have them edit it too. Let me see.
Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Yeah, I think. All right.
So broke.
And they edit it as well. I think it's still, at least on my side, it's okay, but I think yours is a little bit choppy.
Better now?
I think so. Yours is
Still?
yeah, I gotta go like this because sometimes it freezes up.
Let me see if it is on, but is that
No,
on
I
my?
don't know. It might be. It's likely more on my side than your side. Um, maybe then start with. It was maybe where. What was the last point you were saying before it got chopped up? Because
The,
we can edit that part out.
yeah. So
We were talking culture, EQ, IQ. Um,
learn and be curious. No, I was talking about learn and
yeah, it
be
was
curious.
learn and be curious. You were talking about hiring and what you're looking for
Yeah,
hiring.
hiring,
Okay,
right.
so yeah.
So
So
probably that's
keep
what
on that.
so one of the let me know when you're recording. Are you recording already?
I know I didn't stop because
Oh, okay.
they'll edit it. Yeah, they'll edit it out. So you start the hiring and then they'll edit it back in.
One of the other uh, key leadership principles that we have, David, to keep our culture, because the culture is strong, but how you keep the culture when you are growing, internationally, and hiding, more and more, super important to keep the culture. So one of the ways that we use to keep the culture is in our hiring process, which is one of the LPs, hire and develop the best. So it's one of the LPs, which means, by the way, I don't know if I clarified that, but the leadership principles are for everybody. So everybody in Amazon, independent of the role, if you're an individual contributor, a manager, somebody in Brazil, somebody in Canada, in the US, are the same. Global leadership principles. And they are for all Amazon, not for Amazon.com or Amazon Music or AWS. We have the same leadership principle because it's the same culture. So hire and develop the best is one of the LPs that is a call to everybody to be involved in the hiring process and in the development process. So how you are involved in the hiring process with interviews. So you have to be certified to interview as an Amazonian, because the way that we interview and the way that we validate candidates is globally the same. So that is one of the components. When we hire Amazonians already. So we don't hire people that will become Amazonians. We hire Amazonians already. How we know that? Because they behave already aligned with the leadership principles. So, for example, if you in your career or your by formation or by values, you don't have customer as a key component and you are not customer obsessed, because for X reasons, you were working with companies that were product access, and not customer access. And the way that you behave over time has been, customers are not important, it's the product. Maybe you're going to have a hard time in Amazon. So we filter that in the hiring process. But then in the development, people grows, from ICs to managers to different levels. And so the culture has to be always present. So continuously we help with training, with involvement in the hiring process, with managing people, and we really prioritize the culture. I personally have with my team a monthly call that we have around culture, and we have examples of one of the LPs, how you use it, for example, deliver results is one of the LPs. What is the friction that you can have with deliver results with, for example, think big, which is, think big is actually long term, right? So you're gonna think big for the next 3, 5 years, but you have to deliver results. So how you balance that? So we have sessions, training, fireside chats to make sure that people get it. But the one of the other areas is Amazonians that have the more tenure are the ones that are really are examples to the ones that are newer in Amazon, and you can see firsthand with them how an Amazonian behaves. So it's amazing. To your point, the culture is really that has been a key component of the innovation and the success of Amazon, and that's why we value it so much, and we are all culture keepers. That's another thing that we do in Amazon. We want to make sure that everybody keeps the culture for the long term.
Yeah, I was thinking, I think Amazon, there's a couple of thoughts. The amount of employees, I want to say it's like 800, 900,000, maybe more. I don't know. Maybe you have a better sense.
1.5 million.
So I was way off. And so, 1.5 million employees, and I don't know, 500 billion or so in revenue, and it's growing like a startup. I mean, I don't know, 20-30% growth of
Yep.
revenue year over year over year. So there's, you can talk about these principles, but what you're saying there, for those who are listening, I mean, this is the secret sauce of what makes a company like Amazon grow and continue to grow regardless of size. So it's
Yep.
really, really, really fascinating. Some great nuggets there. So Juan, amazing career. You've done a lot of great things. I know you still got so much. What do you see? What do you see yourself doing the next couple of years, and growing, and some of the big goals that you have in Amazon and outside?
So no, thank you. I'm super passionate with what I'm doing. I mean, super energized. If God allows and my health allows, I probably should be doing this for a long time. Because for me, it's like being in college always. So that feeling that when you are in college, the future is ahead, but you are enjoying college and knowing people and learning. I have that feeling. It's like an always college experience. So it's awesome. And so I want to learn more. So what is in my future? Learn, continuously learn, mentor others. So give back what I'm getting, and mentoring others with this, experiences, and help others in what I have received. So that is also in my future. I love to mentor others, and that's my personality, by the way, in the MBTI, a mentor. So I love that. I want to invest in more startups. So investing through Angeles and through other associations is in my future. So continuing doing that, and maybe becoming an author like you. So that is also in my to do.
Well, there you go.
Is
Yeah, there you go. I was saying, you were talking about, yeah, I do also feel like learning. I feel like I'm in college. My only thing is I feel like I got to stretch a lot more. I wake up a little bit more sore. So it is like college, but physically it's a little bit different.
Well,
Hey,
you know, Gen AI is going to help with medicine too. So I'm
maybe.
excited
No,
about
there's some amazing medicines happening. I know. I get it. I get it. I hope it comes faster. Maybe I just want it to come faster. Um, cool. Wow. Well, hey, thank you. Thank you for your insights. There are a lot of great ones. How do people connect with you on social media if they want to follow you and all the great stuff you're doing?
Yeah, no, LinkedIn is probably the best place. So I use that I use LinkedIn a lot and you know, just connect with me through LinkedIn and reach out and then we can, you know, continue the conversation. But LinkedIn will be the first one, David.
Great. Well, Juan, thanks for many years of friendship and also joining us on this Exponential Growth podcast and continued success to you, my friend. We'll be in touch.
Excellent. Thank you for the opportunity, David, and we'll be in touch. Thank you,
All
everyone.
right. Thanks.